The Jim Harbaugh stuff to me is so interesting.
Okay.
It is so interesting because the rumors will just not go away. This has been a couple weeks running now where we've been talking about Jim Harbaugh potentially wanting to make that move back into the NFL. And then we heard some other scuttlebutt that he had actually told a recruit, hey, there might be some NFL interest that I might entertain. I believe
Correct.
that was his phrasing.
Yeah, he is entertaining those conversations. Yeah.
And then it fell through with the Raiders. The Raiders are going to hire Josh McDaniels, I guess, from New England. And it seemed like for a short moment in time, maybe some of those rumors had quelled. But then there was reported interest and an interview with the Vikings. And now maybe the Dolphins thing has come back after all, even given the Ross connection with Michigan and the Dolphins. It just feels to me like there is so much smoke here. And it's not about money. Otherwise, we would have heard a lot about money. And this whole thing would have been put to bed 2 weeks ago. It seems to me like there is genuine interest on behalf of Harbaugh to get back into the league, to find a new team to work with, and to make the jump. Now, it would put Michigan in a really tough spot, given the fact that it's so late in the cycle. As you said at the top here, National Signing Day at time of recording is tomorrow. So,
Correct.
that would be a difficult spot for the Wolverines, especially on the heels of winning the Big Ten championship and having to retool now going into the 2022 season. But if nothing more, I can't say for sure that Harbaugh is going to leave because nobody knows that. It feels that way, though. It feels like he really genuinely has interest. This is not something he's just doing as a leverage play to get more money. Like, this is a guy who was successful there before. I think he wants to take another crack at the NFL. So I'm buying on it. I don't know where he ends up, but I do think the interest is real. And I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen within the next couple days.
It seems that not only is the interest real in going to the NFL, and these can be looked at as pretty similar things, but the interest is real in not being a college football coach, right? Like that, a major college football job is an either fully in or not up to it opportunity.
That's right.
And it definitely has seemed that Jim Harbaugh has been fully in. The commitment to Michigan has been extremely real. And so, I don't know, in a lot of these situations, like, okay, let's say the Vikings, who I think they just hired a new GM or president that he had a connection to when he was with the 49ers. I don't know his name. I'm not up to date with my NFL front office guys. But he has specifically shown interest in that. The story that he would entertain the Raiders job, should that be presented to him. Like, this is somebody who, if you were to believe the stories that are coming out, has not just he could have just tweeted, I have no interest in pursuing any NFL opportunities at this time. Could be a money ploy. It could be, but it doesn't seem like he's driven by that. So this seems like a human who wants to be an NFL coach. And if you want to be an NFL coach on a certain level, for whatever reason, be it the changing ways of college football, doesn't want to be a major college football coach. And that leaves Michigan in quite a lurch. It leaves them in a really... They're recruiting against killers. They're recruiting against emerging killers like Michigan State, and you have Penn State and Ohio State right there. And so right now, with signing day, with recruiting 2023, 2024 kids, how can Michigan look at them in the eye? How can Jim Harbaugh, how can any of these guys say yeah, he's going to be your coach? And that's okay that you can't say that confidently, but you can't say that with any degree of realism that your coach is committed to winning a national championship at Michigan, because it is a 1,000% all-in prospect. And the expectations, now that Michigan is officially a capital P playoff program, is for Michigan to continue being a capital P playoff program. And you can't be.
The one thing I want to go back to, I've never heard of it before, where a coach is telling a recruit he would entertain NFL interest.
Right.
I'm far more comfortable with the Brian Kelly or the Mario Cristobal method, where they know it and they tell white lies and everybody gets that aspect of it. That's what we're used to. But that shocking level of honesty on one half is definitely commendable. Mm-hmm. It's not something you hear a lot about, but I think it's also very troubling. If you're a Michigan fan, if you want him to stick around, to just straight up tell a kid that leads me to believe that it's genuine. This is a guy who wants to go back to the league. If he gets an offer, he's going to take it.
But how many coaches have ever been in the position of Jim Harbaugh?
Not many.
Going
for sure.
from basically the top of the mountain in the NFL back to college. where he could have just stayed in the NFL and pursued other opportunities. A unique situation for sure, given that he played there and, has become this top coach. But yeah, it does seem like it's one of those things where the NFL season is what it is, and it ends at a different point of time than when the college one ends, and the way Michigan's season ended as late as it did. Like, you can't just quit the job at Michigan and say, I'm just going to wait for an NFL job. Like, you can't do that. So it is precarious, and, Michigan has internal candidates. I think Mike McDonald is going back to the Ravens, right? He's going back to the Ravens to be their defensive coordinator, and so you have Josh Gaddis and Mike Hart and Harbaugh's son, who's like 33 or something like that, who's on staff there. Jay Harbaugh is well regarded. But no, Michigan is in some sort of like program purgatory right now, and it's kind of a bummer.
It is a bummer. It's a huge bummer. So a few points on this news. First off, we will continue doing what we've been doing. If there is any late-breaking coach news, that is, find the right time, fire up a YouTube stream.
Yep.
Bring on Michigan people, get comments from the Verballerhood, that type of thing. So
yeah.
If and when this would break, I don't know anything. We're not privy to insider information. It feels to me like things are building towards this. If it happens, we will be doing a stream. Please follow along on social media. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, and then you'll be notified if and when we decide to go live and talk about this, if it comes to fruition.
Yeah.
The second thing that I would offer on this front is, which direction would Michigan go, Dan? That, to me, outside of the fact that it's a huge bummer if Harbaugh decides to leave after winning the Big Ten championship after all these years, finally beat Ohio State. If he decides to leave, it does put Michigan in a big lurch, like you said.
Right.
They do have internal candidates. They've got Josh Gaddis. They've got Mike Hart. You mentioned Harbaugh's kid. I don't know if that's realistic or not. There are also some outside candidates, right? We heard about Bill O'Brien as a candidate. I don't know if I really buy that, but Bill O'Brien's a name. Matt Campbell's a name. You brought up Jeff Hafley. There are all sorts of names out there that could be willing to jump over to Ann Arbor. So if and when this happens, it would be fascinating to see which direction the Michigan brass wants to go, given the fact that the program's in a pretty good spot. It's in a good spot.
Yeah.
And to have someone new take over at this juncture is a really, really tough ask. So many layers of fascination here.
Most certainly a program that has hired either internally or hired guys with Michigan experience. And the one time they didn't, and they went after that flashy national name, wasn't too long ago, but relatively, it's not the most modern hiring, but Rich Rod didn't work out. And certainly left people feeling, we need people who understand this place and can navigate this place. And you go to Brady Hoke, who had Michigan assistant experience. And of course, Lloyd Carr was an assistant there forever, and Jim Harbaugh's connection. And so it's a question of like, do those influences have that type of voice in the room where they're going to hire Mike Hart or they'll hire, Josh Gaddis, somebody with Michigan experience, or will they go external to find the best long-term fit? Whether it's an internal or external, whatever, there's always the fascinating politics behind the scenes at a place that large.